have you ever really truly wondered what happens after we die? I mean, ancient cultures were obsessed with this question, but maybe none came up with an answer quite as elaborate or as fascinating as the ancient Egyptians. You see, they didn't just cross their fingers and hope for the best, they made a plan.
No, seriously, think about that for a second. Not just hopes or prayers, but a literal step-by-step instruction manual for navigating the great beyond. A celestial map with all the enemies, the level bosses, and all the secret passwords laid out for you. Well, for one pharaoh, this wasn't just a hypothetical. For him, it was very real. This incredible alabaster sarcophagus, it belonged to Seti I. And it was placed in a tomb that was, and I'm not exaggerating here, basically wallpapered with the most detailed guide to eternity ever discovered.
That guide is what we now call the Book of Gates. And looking at it is kind of like peering into the world's oldest video game, one with the highest stakes imaginable, the fate of your soul and, the fate of the entire world.
So what exactly is it? Well, the Book of Gates is an ancient funerary text that lays out in detail a soul's journey through the underworld. And get this, the whole journey is divided into 12 sections, one for each hour of the night. So yeah, you can think of them as 12 levels you have to beat before sunrise.
And this is a little glimpse of it. The version they found in Seti I's tomb is the most complete and, frankly, the most stunning copy we've ever found. It's a beautifully complex map, designed to be read by the pharaoh's soul, to guide him safely on his quest.
But here's the thing, this isn't a solo quest. The entire premise is built around this epic, nightly battle for the fate of the cosmos. And as a newly deceased soul, you've basically got a front row seat.
Your soul, or the pharaoh's soul, gets to hop aboard the divine boat of the great sun god Ra. Your job is to travel with him through all 12 hours of darkness, protecting the sun and making sure it can rise again in the morning. The conflict is pretty simple, but the scale is just cosmic. On one side, you've got your goal, help get Ra's sunboat through the night. On the other side, you've got the main villain, Apep, a colossal serpent of chaos, whose one and only goal is to swallow the sun and plunge the world into eternal darkness. In this battle, it happens every single night.
So how do you actually win this divine game? How do you in Ra get past all the obstacles in the underworld? Well, it all comes down to knowing the right passwords. You see, the underworld is divided into 12 massive gates, one for each hour of the night. And each and every one of these gates has a guardian, usually a giant, fearsome serpent just blocking the way. But here's the trick. You can't fight your way through. You have to talk your way through. The process for passing each gate was super specific. First, you approach. Second, you have to recognize the exact serpent that's guarding it. And third, the most important part, you have to speak its secret name. It's the ultimate test of knowledge. Get the name right, the serpent lets you pass. Get it wrong? Well, let's just say failure really isn't an option. The texts are incredibly specific about this. For instance, to get through the gate of the second hour, you had to know that the guardian's name was Sa-Set. You'd address it by that name, proving you possessed this crucial secret knowledge, and it would be forced to let you and the sun god pass. But the Book of Gates wasn't just about knowing secret names. It was also one of the earliest religious texts to lay out a very clear system of divine justice. Turns out, how you lived your life mattered a lot. As you're traveling with Ra, you see other souls of the dead, and at certain points along this journey, those souls are judged. Your entire moral character is put to the test.
And the consequences are stark. The just, so those who lived a good life, they were rewarded with their own plot of land in the afterlife, a kind of paradise where they could farm for eternity. But the wicked were captured, bound, and handed over to demons for punishment at specific gates. Some were even cast into a lake of fire. Pretty clear stakes.
So when you take a step back and look at the whole thing, what does this incredibly complex system tell us? Why go to all the trouble of carving this massive, intricate story onto a tomb wall?
Ultimately, the Book of Gates reveals the absolute core of the Egyptian worldview. It shows this deep-seated fear of chaos, which is embodied by the serpent Apep. It shows a profound belief in cosmic order, what they called Ma'at, represented by Ra's reliable daily journey. It elevates the power of knowledge, and it sets up a really clear framework for divine justice.
So you see, this was so much more than a story to them. For the pharaoh and his people, it was a functional, magical blueprint. By carving it into the tomb, they believed they weren't just telling a story, they were actively participating in this cosmic battle. They were using ritual and knowledge to guarantee that order would always triumph over chaos, and that the sun would always rise.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? If our modern society had to create its own strategy guide for the great beyond, what would our gates even look like? What would be the great chaotic serpents that we fear most? And what secret knowledge, what passwords would we need to know to make sure the light comes back tomorrow?